Bravo! Bravo! Bravissima! You know, Batman the Killing Joke, while I am not a fan of Alan Moore's work myself, I'm not the biggest Alan Moore fan, I do enjoy The Killing Joke. And bravo to Bruce Timm and everyone else involved in this work for pissing in this comic book story's mouth. Thank you so much for making arguably one of the worst Batman animated movies I have ever seen. Congratulations! You have shattered my expectations once again and dropping me down into the lowest dregs. Thank you so much. I didn't even think it was possible. Good job. No, really, you get a standing ovation in mediocrity, my friend. Oh, so you can tell I enjoyed this movie. This was the most hyped movie. I was excited for this movie. I was, extremely happy for this film. I was so hyped for this movie. How? The story was right there. You even had Brian Azzarello write the script for this movie. How did you... Now, let me calm down for a second because... Look, if you like the film, that's totally fine. And there is some good in here. I will admit there is some good in here. But if you did enjoy the movie, that's totally fine. No ill will against you, If you like the film, that's totally cool. I know people who enjoyed this film, and that's totally fine. Me personally, if you want to see it, let me just say this right out the gate. If you want to see like a better adaptation of Batman the Killing Joke done by the same creative team, go check out Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. It is literally hits the same points. It has the same voice cast for the majority of it, and it has a major emotional impact to it. So, yeah. If you want to see like that, just go watch Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. Anyway, so let me talk about the positive real quick. The major positive here is that Mark Hamill seems to be giving it his all in this story. He seems to be giving it his 100% all in this, and I expect nothing less, because this is the story Hamill wanted to do, and he didn't disappoint. I know some people kind of complained about Tara Strong and Kevin Conroy in here and not giving their, having voice work, and I feel like, yeah, they felt a little... I wouldn't say that they weren't, giving any emotion between Strong and Conroy, because, yeah, that's Batgirl and Batman right there. But the thing is that they just felt a little directionless. Now, if someone can correct me on this, if they have, because I could be wrong. But was Andrea Romano part of this? Because I feel like Andrea Romano, I've heard that she wasn't, and I've heard conflicting that she was. I don't know for certain if she was on this project or not, because I feel like if Andrea Romano was on this project, I feel like we would have gotten a better performance. And yes, Conroy and Strong do a good performance, in my opinion. It doesn't exactly go well. It doesn't feel strong enough. It just feels like they're rolling with the punches while Hamill is going all out. And also, okay, let's talk about that goddamn Batgirl scene. Oh my god! What possessed Bruce Timm? What in Bruce Timm's mind, and Sam Liu, everyone a part of this creative team said, hey, what would be awesome? We have a 15 to 20 minute prologue story that has nothing to do with the main story about Batgirl fighting some mobster that will inevitably have no part to the story. Who thought... The only reason I can guess is the Batgirl-Batman sex scene, which, again, is uber creepy because... Okay, Bruce Timm, I don't know what your problem is, but stop it. Stop putting Batman and Batgirl together in every goddamn thing because it's super creepy. It's like Bruce Timm is like a mad fanfiction writer who has like this one crack ship, and he keeps writing all this fanfiction to make you try to like this ship. That's what I feel like when it comes to Bruce Timm on Batman and Batgirl. That's what it feels like to me. And yeah. That's the only reason I can fathom why we had this And now, I'd have been cool with a prologue if, the prologue story revolving around Batgirl. I was initially cool with it, had it had had any weight to the story. Guess what? It doesn't. There is nothing in that Batgirl story that has nothing to do with it. You could have cut this out. It would have been fine. The only part I feel like before the main Killing Joke story you could have left in, and I think it'd have been fine, is that scene where Batman goes investigating those bodies, those dead dentists, and you could have done the story from there. Honestly, I'd have been fine with that. But yeah, I understand that this movie, it's the comic, and yeah, for also let's talk about the comic when they're doing the comic book adaptation itself, and when they say, oh, there was enough time to adapt every little scene, really. Really? Because you cut out multiple scenes. This film cut out multiple scenes from this comic, and plus one of my favorite scenes, the behold the normal man. That's my favorite scene in the comic where Joker, after tormenting Gordon, just verbally breaks him down even further by going into this huge rhetoric of how the normal man is the most insane creature of all, and it's a beautifully done part of the comic, and it only has one mention. That's it. It just says, "Behold, the normal man." Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. Also, the scene that we all know best of Joker's monologue with Batman, it doesn't feel right, because when they have this huge Batman and Joker are fighting in the middle of this conversation, and the whole point of it is that Joker it feels like he's getting emotional. If you've read the comic, he starts to get more emotional, and he starts to feel like, something's tugging at him. Like, there's this moment where he's in the comic where he's like, "Why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you laughing?" And here, it's more like he's angry about it. But in there, it's almost like, why can't you see the funny, why can't you see it from my perspective? It's like he's trying to get him to go as crazy as he is, and he's upset that he can't. And I feel like it doesn't gel right. Also, going back to the Batgirl scene, because, oh boy, is there a lot to talk about in that crap. Batgirl, there's a moment in here where Batman, the whole story of this, if you want to call it that, is that Batgirl and Batman are hunting this guy called Paris France, who is this new crime boss, and he's obsessed with Batgirl, and the whole point of this is that the whole thing is that he's objectifying Batgirl, which is weird, because in every scene I feel like they're objectifying Batman, and moments after Batman says the whole objectifying Batgirl thing, they have sex. Yeah. Oh, man. I can't... What? Look, again, if you really like if you like this movie, that's totally fine. I understand. There are people, and I can see why people can like this. But I was so hyped for this. It was like Batman v Superman, where I was so hyped for this. I had so much for this. This is like one of the stories we wanted to see from the get-go, get a direct-to-video release. And, yeah, we got an R rating, what we all wanted. It was hitting on all the right notes. You're going to have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill back together, even Tara Strong. You had Brian Azzarello on the script. You had Bruce Timm back again. What happened? Where did this go wrong? I'm asking I'm generally confused. What happened, and how did this all go so wrong? That's my question. Anyway, but again, with the Batgirl scene, it just felt weird that, when Batman says you're being objectified by this guy, the whole movie feels like it's objectifying Batgirl in that scene. Like, after they have sex, it has a panning shot of Barbara in her underwear, and her ass is just out there, and there's other scenes where it pans up on her rear end, and it's going up. What? It feels like the movie's contradicting itself, and also Batman's like, you're being objectified. Now give me that sweet bat hooch. Yeah. Ugh. Sorry, I know I'm sounding super ranty here, and for that I apologize, because here's the thing. I didn't want to rant about this. I didn't want to rant, but yeah, this movie I was excited for. Even after I hear all the negative, I've heard a lot of negative reviews about it from a lot of my friends. I was like, no. Let me just go in there with eyes open and see what this whole movie's about. Let me just see for myself. It can't be that bad because it's one of the definitive Batman Joker stories. It's one of the it's one of the most it's a comic that we've always wanted to see done in animation finally. It has the cast we always wanted. It's got one of the best, I think, a very good Batman writer. You got Azzarello here. You had so much working for it, and it fell apart. The animation, even, I understand, yeah, Brian Bollard's work is not easy, but I've seen a fan trailer that really got close to Brian Bollard's work, and when they said we couldn't copy it, that usually means we didn't get the budget to do it, nor did we want to shell the budget out to do Brian Bollard's artwork, their style of artwork. That's what it usually transitions to. I'm sorry, guys. I really wanted to like this. And again, if you like this movie, I'm not saying if you like this movie, you're bad. I'm not saying that at all. If you liked it, more power to you. Yeah, I can see why people like this, because again, I will give it this. Hamill gives it his all with what he has to work with. Even in the flashback scenes, he really pulls off those scenes. Because it's very clear Hamill's always said he's wanted to do this, and he gives it his all in these scenes. But at the same time, I don't know. And again, I'm really sorry for ranting. I am truly sorry for ranting about all this. But yeah. So you guys tell me, what did you guys think of Batman the Killing Joke animated film? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this. And again, I'm sorry for ranting about this. Just disappointed. I'm just kind of like, it feels like a letdown, Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this. And yeah, I'm out.